What if Obi-Wan had joined Count Dooku in the Attack of the Clones Part 2? If you haven't become a member, be sure to join to gain early access to my content and future what-ifs. On the secluded and opulent world of Serenno, far from the prying eyes of the Jedi Council and the Galactic Republic, Count Dooku began to train Anakin Skywalker in ways of the Force that were unexplored and even forbidden by the Jedi. This training was not just in combat and conventional Force abilities, but also in understanding and harnessing the deeper, more complex aspects of the Force. Dooku, a masterful and experienced Force user, recognized the extraordinary potential within Anakin. He was arguably one of the most powerful Jedi of his time, and under Dooku's guidance, Anakin's abilities began to grow at an astonishing rate. The training was rigorous, challenging Anakin's physical, mental, and emotional limits. Anakin learned to tap into his emotions, channeling them to enhance his connection to the Force. Anger, passion, and fear, feelings that the Jedi taught him to suppress, became sources of strength under Dooku's tutelage. Anakin's prowess in lightsaber combat evolved as well, incorporating more aggressive and unorthodox techniques that Dooku himself had mastered. Dooku also imparted knowledge about the nature of the Force that went beyond the binary view of light and dark. He taught Anakin about balance, about understanding and respecting the natural flow of the Force in all its manifestations. This broader perspective of the Force resonated deeply with Anakin, who had always felt constrained by the dogmatic teachings of the Jedi. As his training progressed, Anakin's powers surged. He began to demonstrate abilities that even Dooku found impressive. His strength in the Force, his reflexes, his ability to anticipate events before they happened, all of these grew exponentially. Anakin's natural talent, combined with his intense desire to prove himself and protect those he loved, propelled him to new heights of power. This period of training on Serenno marked a transformational phase in Anakin's life. He was no longer the uncertain Padawan, nor the restrained Jedi Knight. Under Dooku's mentorship, Anakin Skywalker was becoming something else entirely, a Force user of unparalleled strength, one whose potential seemed to have no bounds. On the desolate and chaotic landscape of Lotho Minor, Obi-Wan Kenobi found himself in a world far removed from the order and serenity of the Jedi Temple. The planet, a vast junkyard, was a maze of wreckage and refuse. As he navigated this inhospitable terrain, Obi-Wan reached out with the Force, seeking the unique presence that Count Dooku had assured him he would recognize. For a time, he wandered, feeling lost amidst the endless scrap and decay. But then, a familiar sensation prickled at the edge of his consciousness. It was faint but unmistakable, a dark, brooding presence he had felt once before, many years ago. It seemed impossible, yet as Obi-Wan followed this feeling, it grew stronger, more distinct. Finally, he found himself standing before a figure he had believed was long gone, the Sith Lord he had defeated during the Battle of Naboo, Darth Maul. The shock of this discovery was profound. Maul had been bisected, surely meeting his end. How had he survived? And more importantly, why did Dooku believe this former Sith apprentice was key to their plans? Maul, though weakened and perhaps driven to madness by his years in exile and suffering, still emanated a dangerous and dark energy. His survival alone was a testament to his strength and determination. Obi-Wan was cautious, but knew he needed to understand why Dooku sent him here. Confronting Maul, Obi-Wan sought answers.
"Why are you here, Maul? How have you survived all these years?"
he asked, his lightsaber at the ready, unsure of Maul's intentions. Amidst the debris and desolation of Lotho Minor, Obi-Wan Kenobi stood before the remnant of what once was the Sith Lord, Darth Maul. The figure before him was a patchwork of junk parts and dark side alchemy, a twisted shell of the once formidable warrior. Maul's speech was fragmented, his mind seemingly lost to madness, a consequence of years of isolation and pain. Obi-Wan attempted to communicate, to extract some sense or information from Maul's disjointed ramblings, but it was futile. The Maul he once knew, the Sith filled with rage and purpose, seemed to have been consumed by his own shattered psyche. Then, abruptly, a change overcame Maul. The haze of insanity momentarily lifted from his eyes, replaced by a clarity that was as surprising as it was unsettling. His gaze fixed intently on Obi-Wan, recognition dawning in those once wild eyes.
"It is you, Obi-Wan Kenobi. My downfall, my destiny."
This sudden lucidity in Maul was jarring. It was as if the mention of Obi-Wan's name had triggered something within him, a return to the person he once was, however brief that might be. For Obi-Wan, this was a moment of revelation. He saw in Maul not just an enemy, but a victim of the dark side's merciless grip. Maul's fate was a stark reminder of the path that awaited those who fell too deep into the darkness. The moment of clarity in Maul's eyes was fleeting, rapidly consumed by the burning hatred that had long fueled his existence. With a surge of rage, Maul lunged at Obi-Wan, driven by his singular obsession for vengeance. The years had not dulled Maul's ferocity, but neither had they diminished Obi-Wan's skills and reflexes. Reacting instinctively, Obi-Wan ignited his lightsaber and deflected Maul's attack. The duel, though brief, was intense, a clash of two warriors bound by a history of conflict. Obi-Wan, however, was not there to fight. He sought answers, not vengeance. Recognizing that Maul was too consumed by his hatred to provide any useful information, Obi-Wan made a decisive move. With a swift defensive strike, Obi-Wan cut Maul down once more, the Sith Lord's reconstructed body failing him in the face of Obi-Wan's skill. Maul's scream of anger and frustration echoed through the junk-strewn landscape as he fell, yet again defeated by the Jedi Master. However, instead of leaving Maul to his fate, Obi-Wan approached the fallen Sith. He could sense that Maul, despite his madness and rage, was a piece of a larger puzzle that Dooku had set in motion. Using the Force, Obi-Wan gently lifted Maul's unconscious form, carrying him back to his ship. The decision to bring Maul with him was not taken lightly. Obi-Wan understood that Maul was dangerous and unpredictable, but he also knew that the answers he sought about Dooku's plans and the Sith Lord controlling the Republic might somehow be connected to this broken creature. As his ship left the surface of Lotho Minor, Obi-Wan pondered the next step. He had more questions now than when he arrived. What role did Maul have to play in Dooku's scheme? How did Maul survive all these years? And most importantly, what was the true endgame of the Sith? Upon reuniting with Count Dooku and Anakin Skywalker, Obi-Wan Kenobi immediately sensed the profound change in his former Padawan. The Force around Anakin felt different, denser, and more intense. It was clear that Anakin's strength in the Force had grown exponentially under Dooku's guidance, a testament to both Anakin's innate potential and the unorthodox methods of Dooku's training. The dynamic between the three was complex. Obi-Wan, while still committed to uncovering the truth behind the Sith's manipulation of the Republic, harbored concerns about the path Anakin was treading. The increased power he sensed in Anakin was both awe-inspiring and alarming. There was a raw edge to it, a potency that was untempered by the restraint usually taught by the Jedi. Dooku, for his part, seemed pleased with Anakin's progress. He viewed Anakin's burgeoning abilities as a validation of his own beliefs about the Force. That true power came from embracing all its aspects, not just adhering to the dogmatic limitations of the Jedi Order. Anakin himself was caught in a whirlwind of change and revelation. Training under Dooku had opened his eyes to new possibilities and given him a sense of power and freedom he had never known. However, the presence of Obi-Wan, a link to his past and the Jedi teachings, also served as a reminder of the life and principles he was moving away from. As they convened, Obi-Wan presented Maul, now a prisoner, to Dooku and Anakin. The sight of the former Sith Lord, defeated and broken, was a shock to Anakin. Maul's very existence raised questions about the nature of the dark side, the Sith, and the path Anakin had embarked upon. In the shadowed halls of Count Dooku's stronghold on Serenno, a new mission was set into motion. Dooku, with the enigmatic Darth Maul in tow, prepared to depart for the mysterious planet of Dathomir. Before leaving, he turned his attention to Obi-Wan Kenobi and Anakin Skywalker, detailing their next assignment.
You must travel to Mandalore. A political ally of ours is held captive there. This individual possesses critical information that could tip the scales of the war in our favor. You must secure their release discreetly. Mandalore's neutrality in the war is precarious, and we cannot afford to upset that balance.
Mandalore, a planet steeped in a rich warrior culture, had long struggled with its place in the galaxy's political landscape. Currently, it was governed by a regime striving to maintain peace and neutrality amid the galactic conflict. However, the capture of a separatist sympathizer within its borders threatened to unravel that delicate balance. Obi-Wan and Anakin acknowledged the mission, each processing the weight of the task in their own way. Obi-Wan, ever the diplomat, was already considering the intricate web of Mandalorian politics and the need for a subtle approach. Anakin, his powers burgeoning under Dooku's tutelage, felt a rush of anticipation at the challenge that lay ahead. As Dooku's ship set course for the shadowy world of Dathomir, home to the enigmatic Night Sisters and a nexus of dark side energy, Obi-Wan and Anakin embarked on their journey to Mandalore. The mission ahead required a delicate balance of stealth, cunning, and if necessary, force, all while navigating the complexities of Mandalorian society and its internal factions. Upon arriving on Mandalore, Obi-Wan Kenobi and Anakin Skywalker were unexpectedly greeted by Duchess Satine, the leader of Mandalore known for her commitment to peace and neutrality in the galaxy. For Obi-Wan, the reunion with Satine stirred a complex mix of emotions. Their past was marked by deep affection and shared ideals, but also by the harsh realities of duty and the Jedi Code. As Obi-Wan and Satine conversed, reminiscing about their time together years ago when Obi-Wan was tasked with protecting her, Anakin observed a side of his master he had never seen. The bond between Obi-Wan and Satine was palpable, filled with unspoken words and lingering glances. For Anakin, this was a revelation. He had always known Obi-Wan as the epitome of Jedi principles, a mentor who often counseled restraint and adherence to the Order's code. Discovering Obi-Wan's deeply personal connection to Satine offered Anakin a new perspective on his master. Anakin, who had struggled with his own forbidden love for Padme Amidala, found a newfound understanding and perhaps a sense of camaraderie in this discovery. The realization that Obi-Wan too had experienced such profound emotions and perhaps faced similar inner conflicts bridged a gap between master and apprentice. It highlighted the complexities and often the contradictions within the lives of the Jedi. Meanwhile, Obi-Wan navigated his reunion with Satine with a sense of bittersweet nostalgia and duty. He was there on a mission, one that could potentially endanger Mandalore's precarious position in the galactic conflict. Satine, a staunch pacifist, might not look kindly upon the true nature of their visit. The meeting also posed a moral dilemma for Obi-Wan. His feelings for Satine had never fully dissipated, yet he was now walking a path that blurred the lines of his Jedi teachings. Furthermore, involving Satine in their mission could place her and Mandalore in the crosshairs of galactic politics. On the dark and enigmatic planet of Dathomir, Count Dooku, with the power of the Force, dragged the defeated and broken form of Darth Maul before Mother Talzin, the enigmatic and powerful leader of the Night Sisters. The atmosphere was thick with ancient and dark energy, a stark contrast to the bright and ordered world of the Jedi. Dooku's words resonated with a sense of purpose and underlying intent as he addressed Mother Talzin.
The son of Dathomir is broken. His mind is fractured. Perhaps you could help him.
Mother Talzin, her eyes reflecting a deep knowledge of the dark side and its mysteries, examined Maul with a calculating gaze. Maul, once a fearsome Sith Lord, now lay before her, a shadow of his former self, his psyche shattered by years of isolation and despair. Dathomir, a world steeped in dark side lore and the home of the Night Sisters, a clan of powerful force-wielding witches, held secrets and powers unknown to many in the galaxy. Mother Talzin, known for her mastery of dark magics and spirit manipulation, was one of the few who could possibly delve into the broken mind of Maul and piece it back together. Dooku's request, however, was not merely one of compassion for a fallen Sith. His motives were layered, part of a larger plan that required Maul's return to some semblance of his former strength and cunning. Maul, a weapon forged by the dark side, still had a role to play in the unfolding galactic drama. As Mother Talzin agreed to tend to Maul, her incantations and rituals began to weave around the fallen Sith. The air crackled with dark energy, and the shadows seemed to dance at the edge of perception. This was the realm of ancient and forbidden knowledge, where the boundary between the physical and spiritual worlds blurred.